Lazy Ozzie, Michael Coleman, Gindwit Williamson. Ozzie was a very lazy owl. "It's time you learn how to fly," said Mother Owl one day. But Ozzie said, "Oh, do I have to?" He didn't want to learn how to fly. All that wing flapping looked like too much hard work. Ozzie's favorite thing to do was to sit around. "I'm practicing being wise," he said. "Well, I want you to fly," said his mother sternly. "Now I'm going to look for some food, and if you are wise, you'll be on the ground by the time I come back." Ozzie thought hard. If he was wise, then he should be able to think of a way to getting down to the ground without flying. Suddenly, he noticed a horse who lived in their barn. The horse's head came up almost as high as the beam Ozzie was sitting on. Ozzie had an idea. "Help, help!" he yelled. "What's the matter?" asked the high horse. "It's an emergency!" cried Ozzie, jumping onto the high horse's back. "Take me to the milk shed!" So the high horse took Ozzie to the milk shed. In the milk shed, there lived a cow who wasn't quite as high as the high horse. "It's an emergency!" cried Ozzie, jumping onto the not-so-quite-so-high cow's back. "Take me to the pigsty!" So the high horse and the not-quite-so-high cow took Ozzie to the pigsty. In the pigsty, there lived a pig. The pig wasn't as tall as the not-quite-so-high cow, but he was a big pig. "It's an emergency!" cried Ozzie, jumping onto the big pig's back. "Take me to the barnyard!" So the high horse, the not-quite-so-high cow, and the big pig took Ozzie to the barnyard. In the barnyard, there lived a sheepdog. The sheepdog wasn't as tall as the big pig. He was a short sheepdog. "It's an emergency!" cried Ozzie, jumping onto the short sheepdog's back. "Take me to the pasture!" So the high horse, the not-quite-so-high cow, the big pig, and the short sheepdog took Ozzie to the pasture. In the pasture, there lived a lamb. The lamb wasn't as tall as the short sheepdog. She was a little lamb. "It's an emergency!" cried Ozzie, jumping onto the little lamb's back. "Take me to the duck pond!" So the high horse, the not-quite-so-high cow, big pig, the short sheepdog, and the little lamb took Ozzie to the duck pond. In the duck pond, there lived a duck. The duck wasn't as tall as the little lamb. He was a dinky duck. "It's an emergency!" cried Ozzie, jumping onto the dinky duck's back. "Take me to the barn!" So the high horse, the not-quite-so-high cow, the big pig, the short sheepdog, the little lamb, and the dinky duck took Ozzie to the barn. As soon as they got there, Ozzie hopped down to the ground from the dinky duck's back. "He's done it! Now that's what you call being wise," he told himself. "So what's the emergency?" asked the high horse. "Oh," said Ozzie, "I was only kidding. Wasn't that fun?" The high horse, the not-quite-so-high cow, the big pig, the short sheepdog, the little lamb, and the dinky duck weren't amused. They went away grumbling. But Ozzie was pretty happy. His plan would work. He was pretty wise already. "I flew all the way down," he said proudly to his mother when he came back. Mother Owl gave a big smile. "That's wonderful," she said. Ozzie thought she was pleased with him, but she didn't know that she'd been watching the whole time. "Now let me see you fly back up again," said Mother Owl. And then the animals all smiled. And he said, "Our trickster has become a not-so-trickster." Yeah, like that. The end. So the lesson in this book is to not lie. Because at the end of the book, Mother Owl said, "Now let me see you fly back up again," because she was watching the whole time. Yeah, but she had to learn the lesson too. She said she's going to look for some food, but she actually didn't. So she had to learn the lesson too. Some owls live in nature and some owls live in a barn. Some live in nature. You can mostly see them in the forest at night. And where I'm reading this book is almost at night. And if you see any owls, tell me.